Let's go. Revelation 8. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven, as of half an hour. And I saw the seven angels who stood before God, and there were given to them seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense went up with the prayers of the saints out of the hand of the angel before God. And the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar and cast it unto the earth. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings and an earthquake. And the seven angels that had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. And the first angel sounded, and there became hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea that had souls died, and the third part of the ships perished. And the third angel sounded, and there fell from heaven a great star, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood. And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Wormwood. What is this wormwood?
Wormwood.
Wormwood is like a grass. Bitterness. It's about bitterness. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten. Smitten.
Smitten.
Smitten, like strike, smashed. The sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so that the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I saw and I heard an angel flying in the midst of heaven, saying with a great voice, Woe, woe, woe to them that dwell on the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels that are about to sound. The spiritual sense, the contents of the whole chapter. The Church of the Reformed is here treated of as to the quality of those therein who are in faith alone. the preparation of the spiritual heaven for communication with them, the exploration and manifestation of those who are in its exteriors. What they are as to the understanding of the word, that they are in falsities and thence in evils. The contents of which verse? Verse 1. And when he had opened the seventh seal, signifies exploration by the Lord of the state of the church and thence of the life of those who are in his spiritual kingdom, being those who are in charity and its faith, in this case who are in faith alone. There was silence in heaven as of half an hour. It signifies that the angels of the Lord's spiritual kingdom were greatly amazed when they saw those who said they were in the faith in such a state. Verse 2. And they saw the seven angels who stood before God. Signifies the entire spiritual heaven in the presence of the Lord, hearing and doing what he commands. And there were given to them seven trumpets. Signifies the exploration and disclosure. 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 Mhm. The exploration and disclosure of the state of the church, and thence of the life of those who are in faith alone. Verse 3. And another angel came and stood at the altar having a golden censer, signifies spiritual worship, which is from the good of charity by the truth of faith. And there was given him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne, signifies propitiation. What is this? Propitiation. Like pity.
Hello,
Propitiation.
Hello.
how are you?
I'm reading the book. As you can see on the stream, this book.
Oh,
And
what a good. Really good.
Propitiation.
What topic?
well, America is so novel. It's horrible. It sounds horrible.
Hmm.
Overnight. What you're doing. Nice to meet you. Because you're noisy like a foreign. Are you kidding me? Signifies propitiation. Signifies propitiation.
Propitiation.
Propitiation. Propitiation. Appeasement. Reconciliation.
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation. Reconciliation signifies propitiation. Propitiation. Propitiation.
Propitiation.
Propitiation. Lest the angels of the Lord's spiritual kingdom should be hurt by the spirits of the satanic kingdom that were below. Verse 4. And the smoke of the incense went up with the prayers of the saints out of the hand of the angel before God, signifies the protection of them by the Lord. And the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar and cast it onto the earth, signifies spiritual love, in which is celestial love, and its influx into lower things. Influx.
Influx.
Influx into lower things, where they were who were in faith separated from charity. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings and an earthquake, signifies that after communication was opened with them, there were hard reasonings concerning faith alone and confirmations of faith, and confirmations in favor of it. Verse 6. And the seven angels that had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. signifies that they were prepared and girded to explore the state of the prepared and girded.
Girded.
Girded. It's like with belt, prepared with belt. The state of the the state of the church, and thence the state of life which with the state of life with those whose religion is faith alone. Verse 7. The first angel sounded signifies the exploration and manifestation of the quality of the state of the church with those who are interiorly in that faith. And they became hail and fire mingled with blood signifies falsity from infernal love. What is infernal love?
Infernal.
Infernal, like hellish, hellish love. Infernal love, and destroying good and truth and falsifying the word. And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up, signifies that with them every affection and perception of truth which constitute the man of the church had perished, and all green grass was burnt up, signifies thus every living thing of faith. Verse 8, and the second angel sounded, signifies the exploration and manifestation of what the state of the church is with those who are exteriorly in that faith. And as it were a mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, signifies the appearance of infernal love with them. And the third part of the sea became blood, signifies that all general truths with them were falsified. Verse 9. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea that had souls died, signifies that they who have lived and do live this faith cannot be reformed and receive life. And the third part of the ships perished, signifies that all the knowledges of good and truth from the word serving for the use of life were destroyed with them. Verse 10. And the third angel sounded signifies the exploration and manifestation of the state of the church with those whose religion is faith alone as to the affection and reception of truth from the word. And there fell from heaven a great star, burning as it were a lamp, signifies the appearance of their own intelligence from pride arising from infernal love. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the mountains. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters, signifies that thence all the truths of the word were altogether falsified. Verse 11. And the name of the star is called wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, signifies the infernal falsity from which their own intelligence is derived, by which all the truths of the word are falsified. And many men died in the waters because they were made bitter, signifies the extinction of spiritual life from the falsified truths of the word. Extinction. Existing. Extinction.
Extinction.
It's like dying. Extinction. Destruction. Extinction. Extinction. It's dying. Verse 12. When the fourth angel sounded, signifies the exploration and manifestation of the state of the church with those whose religion is faith alone, as being in the evils of falsity and in the falsities of evil. And the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, and the third part of them was darkened. Signifies that by reason of evils from falsities and of falsities from evils, They did not know what love is, or what faith is, or any truth, and the day shone not for a third part of it. And the night likewise signifies that there is no longer any spiritual truth, nor natural truth, serviceable for doctrine and life from the word with them. Serviceable.
Serviceable.
Serviceable. Serviceable like useful. Serviceable. For doctrine and life from the word with them. And I saw and I heard an angel flying in the midst of heaven, signifies instruction and prediction from the Lord, saying with a great voice, Woe, woe, woe to them that dwell on the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are about to sound, signifies the deepest lamentation over the damned state of those in the church who in doctrine and life have confirmed themselves in faith separate from charity. The explanation. There are two kingdoms into which the entire heaven is divided, the celestial kingdom and the spiritual kingdom. The celestial kingdom consists of those who are in love to the Lord and dance in wisdom. And the spiritual kingdom consists of those who are in love towards the neighbor and dance in intelligence. What's the difference between wisdom and intelligence? Yeah, I think wisdom is like perception, but intelligence like about knowledge. Knowledge and perception is like wisdom, but intelligence like knowledge without wisdom. And as love towards the neighbor is at this day called charity and intelligence, faith, the latter kingdom consists of those who are in charity. Mhm. The latter kingdom consists of those who are in charity. Mhm. Because if you have wisdom, yeah, we have, if you have intelligence, we can do charity too. But it is not, but it is this, the charity is from intelligence. But if you are in wisdom, we can do charity from wisdom. And then, like to do charity from wisdom, it's like to see more higher, to see more far. The latter kingdom consists of those who are in charity and then in faith. Who are in charity, they are in faith. Yeah, because he who does not understand charity, he doesn't have wisdom, and he is not in faith. Now, because heaven is distinguished into two kingdoms, hell also is distinguished into two kingdoms that are opposite to them, into the diabolical kingdom and into the satanic kingdom. The diabolical kingdom consists of those who are in the love of dominion, from love of who are in the love of dominion from love of self and thence in foolishness. For this love is opposite to celestial love, and its foolishness is opposite to celestial wisdom. But the satanic kingdom consists of those who are in the love of dominion from the pride of their own intelligence, and thence in insanity. For this love is opposite to spiritual love, and its insanity is opposite to spiritual intelligence. By foolishness and insanity, I meant foolishness and insanity in things celestial and spiritual. Similar things are to be understood of the church on earth as are said of heaven, for they make one. Concerning these two kingdoms, see the work of heaven and hell published in London, at London, and see also many other places. Now, as Revelation treats only of the state of the church at its end, as was observed in the preface. And 2, therefore, what now follows treats of those who are in the two kingdoms of heaven, and of those who are in the two kingdoms of hell, and their quality. From this chapter of those who are in the spiritual kingdom and in the satanic kingdom, opposite to it, in chapters 17, 18 of those who are in the celestial kingdom and in the diabolical kingdom, opposite to it, and afterwards of the last judgment, and at length of the new church, which is the New Jerusalem, this bringing all that goes before to a conclusion, because it is the end on account of which they are. In many parts of the word, the devil and Satan are mentioned, and by both is meant hell. It is so named because all in one hell are called devils, and all in the other are called Satans. Verse 1. And when he had opened the seventh seal, signifies exploration by the Lord of the state of the church, and thence of the state of life of those who are in his spiritual kingdom, being those who are in charity and in faith in this case, who are in faith alone, that this is the signification of these words may appear from all the particulars of this chapter when understood in the spiritual sense. For this chapter and the following to chapter 16 treat of those who are in the spiritual kingdom, or those who are in love towards the neighbor, and thence in intelligence, as one said above. But since at this day they say charity instead of love towards the neighbor, and faith instead of they say charity instead of love towards the neighbor, and faith instead of intelligence. And here there is not any exploration of those who are in charity and thence in faith, because these belong to such as are in heaven. Therefore, exploration is here made of those who are in faith alone. Faith alone is also faith separated from charity. There be no conjunction. That to open the seal signifies to explore states of life, or what is the same thing, the states of the church and thence of life. See above. There was silence in heaven as of half an hour, signifies that the angels of the Lord's spiritual kingdom were greatly amazed. Silence. Yeah, because we can say that if we are amazed, we can shout for joy, but we can be in silence too. What is more amazed? To be silence, or to be in shouting for joy to the Lord, for example. Like shout for joy to the Lord of the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. Shout for joy. And but I think silence, if we are shocked, if we are so greatly amazed, we are like shocked, and we are in silence. It means that we like when we are amazed, we can shout for joy, but if we are greatly amazed, we are in silence. We have silence. Well, we were greatly amazed when they saw those who said they were in faith in such a state. By silence in heaven, nothing else is meant by amazement. Mhm. But silence in heaven, nothing else is meant by amazement. There, in regard to
What's up?
those. Hello.
That's good.
I'm reading the book you can see on the stream.
What are you guys talking about? Just reading the books?
Yeah, I'm reading the book you can see on the stream. And if you want to read, you can read next verse in your turn. I'm learning English from this book.
Can I read?
You can read next when I will finish this. You can read from next page, verse 2.
Okay, so how many pages are you learning? I mean, reading.
How many pages? This book is
Book?
500, 5,866 pages.
Oh, that's a lot. So I'll be back soon.
hmm Actually, it's not a lot because it's a EPUB version. Pages are little here.
Where are you from? Swedenborg?
I don't say about myself because it is not a topic of this channel today because this book is a topic, but not me. I don't represent myself. And,
Alright, man. See you around.
okay. It's about silence. You see, by silence in heaven, nothing else is meant by amazement there in regard to those who say they are in faith, and yet are in such a state, for their state is described in that follows, the quality of which can be seen from the explanation. By half an hour is signified greatly, because by an hour is signified a full state. The time signifies state, will be seen below. Yeah, because we read, there was, we read here, there was silence in heaven as of half an hour. Because of half, because if we talk about hour, it's like full state. Yeah, he writes because by an hour signified a full state, but uh, half an hour, it's like greatly, greatly, because it's about full state and half an hour else. The time signifies state will be seen below. Verse 2. Mhm. If someone have any comments, you can say your comments, or maybe someone wants to read too. You can read. Verse 2. And I saw the seven angels who stood before God, signifies the entire spiritual heaven in the presence of the Lord, hearing and doing what he commands. By seven angels is signified the entire heaven, because seven signifies all or all things, thence the whole and entire, and by angels in the highest sense is signified the Lord, and in a relative sense heaven. Here the spiritual heaven, as may appear from what was said above, that to stand before God signifies to hear and do what he commands. Yeah, because what it means to stand before God? Because why do we need to stand before God? We should listen to him. It means we should hear his commands and do what he commands. Yeah, I'm totally agree. And they were given to them 7 trumpets, signifies the exploration and disclosure of the state of the church, and thence of the life of those who are in faith alone. Here by trumpets, the same thing is signified as by sounding, because they sounded with them, and by sounding with trumpets is signified to call together upon solemn occasions. What is solemn? Solemn. Solemn occasions.
Solemn.
Solemn like serious, ceremonial, sacred, maybe. Solemn occasions. If it is about occasions, yeah,
Solemn occasions.
it's like solemn event. Mhm. Upon solemn occasions, which were various, in this case, to explore and discover the quality of those who are in faith alone, thus the quality of those who are at this day of the churches of the Reformed. It should be known that the church in the Reformed world is at this day divided into 3. From the 3 leaders, Luther, Calvin, and Melanchthon. And that these 3 churches differ in various things, but in this article that man is justified by faith without the works of the law, they all agree, which is remarkable, that by sounding with trumpets is signified to all together will be seen below. Verse 3. Maybe any comments, or maybe someone wants to read? Next verse. Verse 3. And another angel came and stood at the altar having a golden censer, signifies spiritual worship, which is from the good of charity by the truth of faith, by the altar at which the angel stood, and by the golden censer which he had in his hand, is signified the worship of the Lord from spiritual love, which worship is from the good of charity by the truth of faith. With the sons of Israel there were 2 altars, one without the tent and the other within it. The altar without the tent was called the altar of burnt offering, because burnt offerings and sacrifices were offered upon it. The altar within the tent was called the altar of incense, as also the golden altar. There were 2 altars, because the worship of the Lord is from celestial love and from spiritual love. From celestial love by those who are in his celestial kingdom, and from spiritual love by those who are in his spiritual kingdom. Concerning these 2 kingdoms, Sibal. Concerning the 2 altars, see the following passages in Moses concerning the altar of burnt offering. See Exodus, Leviticus. Concerning the altar of incense, see Exodus, Numbers. The 2 altars, censers, and incense were seen by John. It was not because such things exist in heaven. These were only representative of the worship of the Lord there. The reason is because such things were instituted among the sons of Israel and are therefore often mentioned in the word. And the church was a representative church for all things of their worship represented, and thence they now signify the divine, celestial, and spiritual things of the Lord, which are of his church in the heavens and on the earth. The same is therefore signified by those who are signified by the 2 altars spoken of in the word in the following passages. O send out thy light and thy truth. Let them lead me to thy habitation, and I will go to the altar of God, unto God. I will wash my hands in innocence, and so will I compass thy altar, O Jehovah, and I will make the voice of thanksgiving to be heard. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron upon the tablet of their heart and upon the horns of your altars. God is Jehovah who enlighteneth, who enlighteneth us. Bind the festal offering with cords unto the horns of the altar. In the day shall there be an altar in the midst of the land of Egypt. The altar to Jehovah in the midst of the land of Egypt signifies the worship of the Lord from love in the natural man. The thistle and the thorn shall come up upon the altars. But this is signified worship from evil and from the falsities of evil. Since the worship of the Lord was represented and then signified by the altar, it is evident that by altar here in Revelation nothing else is meant, and also elsewhere as I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God. The angel stood and said, measure the temple of God and the altar, and them that adore therein. I heard another angel from the altar saying, true and just are thy judgments. Since representative worship, which was performed chiefly upon two altars, was abrogated. What is abrogated?
abrogated,
Abrogated like annulled, abolished, terminated. Was abrogated. We can say Jesus abrogated death because he annulled death. He abolished death on the cross. And we can say he destroyed death, and death was abrogated by the Lord when he came into the world, because he himself opened the interiors of the church. Therefore it is said in Isaiah, in the day shall a man look to his maker, and his eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Israel, and not to the altars, the work of his hands. And there was given him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne, signifies propitiation, lest the angels of the Lord's spiritual kingdom should be heard by the spirits of the satanic kingdom that were below. By the incense and by the golden altar is signified the worship of the Lord from spiritual love. By prayers and are signified those things which relate to charity and thence to faith in worship. And by saints are meant those who are in the Lord's spiritual kingdom, and by the just, those who are in his celestial kingdom. From this it may appear that they who are in the Lord's spiritual kingdom are here treated of, that here much incense offered with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar signifies propitiation, unless they should. Propitiation. Propitiation signifies propitiation. I forgot it and the meaning.
propitiation,
Propitiation like appeasement. Propitiation, lest they should be heard by the spirits of the satanic kingdom who were below because propitiations and expiations. What is expiations? Expiations.
Expiations.
It's like redemption, expiation, reparation, expiations were made by incense, especially when dangers threatened, as many appear from the following passages. Dangers threatened.
Threatened.
Threatened, like endangered.
Endangered.
Endangered. Threatened. When dangers threatened, as may appear from the following passages. When the congregation murmured against Moses and Aaron and were affected with the plague, Aaron took fire from the altar and put incense into a censer and ran between the living and the dead to expiate, and the plague was stayed. Expiate. To expiate.
Expiate.
Expiate, like redeemed. Expiation, yeah. Expiation and expiate. Yeah, this word, expiations. Expiations and expiate. Propitiations. Propitiations and expiations. And this we see expiate, to expiate, and the plague was stayed. The altar of incense was also placed in the tent before the mercy seat that was over the ark, and incense was offered into it every morning when the lamps were trimmed. And it was commanded that as often as Aaron entered within the veil, he should offer incense, and the cloud of incense should cover the mercy seat, lest he should die. Mercy seat.
Mercy seat.
Mercy seat, like the the throne of mercy. Mercy seat. From these things, it may appear that propitiations in the representative Israelitish church were made by offering incense in like manner here, that they might not be heard by the satanic spirits who were below. Any comments? Okay. Verse 4. And the smoke of the incense went with the prayers of the saints out of the hand of the angel before God, signifies the protection of them by the Lord. But the smoke of the incense went up before God is signified what is accepted and grateful. Wherefore the like is said by David, let my prayers be accepted before thee as incense. The reason was because the smoke of the incense was fragrant from the aromatic of which it was composed, which were staked onycha,
Stacked.
stacked. What is stack? Let's. I think I should see the picture. Stacked. Stacked. No, I think it's very fancy.
What are you guys doing?
You can see on the stream this book, and I'm in this book.
Cool, cool.
It's about incense. Onycha.
I'm doing some work on my laptop.
No, In background. Maybe can you turn off your microphone because of big noise behind you?
Ah, okay, wait.
Horrible. Sounds very horrible. Mm. Onica.
Onika.
Onica. What is this
Yeah,
Onica?
I left the balcony open, and it's quite noisy here in the city.
Yeah, Onica. I see. I think it's expensive thing too. Yeah, an expensive thing.
What?
How much is it?
What's the expensive thing?
Hmm. And galbanum. Galbanum. What is this? Galbanum.
Galbanum.
Galbanum. Galbanum. I never heard
Galbanum.
galbanum. And let's see. Galbanum. Hmm. It's galbanum. It's like a grass. Okay. And frankincense. Frankincense.
Frankincense.
Frankincense. Let's see. Frankincense. Hmm. Frankincense. Okay. I don't know what it is. Ah, yeah. It's like the. It's like about oil of tree. Frankincense. And the fragrance of those aromatic corresponds to such things as are of spiritual love or charity and thence of faith. For in heaven most fragrant odors are sensibly perceived corresponding to the perceptions of the angels originating from their love. Therefore, it is also said in many parts of the world that Jehovah smelled and odored of rest. That protection by the Lord is signified follows from what said above. Any comments? Or maybe someone wants to read next verse? 5.
May I read next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Verse 5. And the angel took the censer, and filled it with the fire of the altar, and cast it unto the earth, signifying spiritual love, in which is celestial love and its influx into the lower part, where they were who are in faith separate from charity. They buy a censer as well as in by incense, a signified worship from spiritual love, is evident from what was shown above, and also from this that in the word the thing containing signifies the same as the thing contained, as a cup and planner signified the same as wine and foot. Luke 22:20 and the other places. By the fire of the altar of burnt offering is signified the divine collation love
Celestial.
because collation
So I think it's celestial, like heavenly.
Celestial.
celestial, okay, celestial.
Celestial.
What does it
Celestial.
mean?
Celestial.
Stellar,
Celestial. It's like
celestial
heavenly.
love. Like,
Mhm.
sorry, what? Like what?
Celestial, the meaning is like heavenly love. You see celestial like heavenly, which is above.
Oh, okay.
Celestial.
It's about what is above. Celestial.
Divine celestial love, because by the altar was signified worship from that love, as may be seen above, and by fire, in the highest sense, is signified to divine love. Spiritual love, which is charity, derives its essence from celestial love, which is love to the Lord. Without this love, there is nothing vital in spiritual love or
Vital.
charity
Vital.
vital. Okay.
Vital. This word is vital.
Vital.
Vital, mm,
Okay.
like
Arjun,
it's about.
Harry,
It's like
and Fatima.
it's about life. Like what is really important.
Okay.
Vital.
Vital and spiritual love are charity from spirit for spirit, and life is from no other source than from the Lord. This was represented in the Israelites' charge by their taking fire from the censers when they offered
This
incense.
word is you said deduce. It's derives. Derives.
Derives
Derives.
Derives like deduce. Extract. Derives.
produce. Okay.
They
Derives
offered incense.
incense only from the altar of burnt offering, as may appear in Moses. The two sons of Aaron were consumed by fire from heaven because they offered incense from stranger fire, that is, from fire not taken from the altar. Therefore it was also ordained that fire should burn continually on the altar of burnt offering, and so not be put out. This was because the fire of the altar signified the divine life of the Lord, and dance left the Lord by casting the censer upon the earth is signified influx into lower things. And there were voices and the thunders and the lightnings, and earth and an earthquake signifies that after communication was opened with them, there were heard reasonings concerning faith alone, and confirmations in favor of it, and that the state of the church with them was perceived to be tottering to destruction. The lightnings, thunders, and voices signify enlightenment, perceptions, and interactions by influx from heaven. But here, with those who were in faith alone, who have no knowledge, enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment,
Enlightenment.
enlightenment,
Enlightenment. Maybe
enlightenment,
enlightenment.
Enlightenment.
In
enlightenment,
enlightenment. Enlightenment. Enlightenment.
enlightenment,
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment.
enlightenment,
And what is tottering? Perceived to be tottering.
tottering, thought,
Tottering.
Tottering like shaking.
Tottering.
Shaking. Fluctuate.
Fluctuate.
Fluctuate. Fluctuate. Tottering. Shaking.
tottering,
Perception.
perception and interaction. Oh my god, why say introduction?
Instruction.
Instruction.
Instruction like
Yeah, yeah.
instruct.
I used the introduction. Instruction by influx from heaven, by voices, thunders, and lightnings, are signified reasonings about faith alone, and arguments and confirmations in favor of it, by earthquakes, are signified changes of the state of the charge. In this case, that the state of the charge among them was perceived to be tottering to destruction. For earthquakes take place into the world of spirit when the state of the charge in the societies is perverted and inverted. The reason why the censer was cast unto the earth by the angel, before the seven angels began to sound with the trumpets, was that by influx communication might be opened between those who were in the spiritual heaven with those below who were in faith alone, from which communication there arose reasonings and confirmations in favor of it, which were also heard and perceived, wherefore it is said that after communication was opened, they were heard and perceived.
Thank you. It's next verse. Your reading is very well, and this verse 6 is the next verse. It's my turn. Verse 6. And the seven angels that had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound, signifies that they were prepared and girded to explore the state of the church and thence the state of life with those whose religion is faith alone. What is signified by trumpets appears from the statute respecting the use of them with the sons of Israel, concerning which it is thus written in Moses. Jehovah spake unto Moses to make trumpets, trumpets of silver for the calling of the assembly, and for the journeying of the camps. It is journeying. Traveling.
Journeying.
I know what is journey, but journeying like traveling, yeah. Yeah. For the journeying, like journey is a verb, but journeying like a noun. Journeying of the camps, and that they should sound with them on days of joy, festivals, new moons, over burnt offerings and sacrifices also, that when they went to war against enemies that infested them, they should blow an alarm with their trumpets, and that then they should come into remembrance before Jehovah God and should be preserved from their enemies. From these words it may be seen that what is signified by sounding with trumpets. That here by the seven angels sounding is signified the exploration and manifestation of what the state of the church is with those whose religion is faith alone, is evident from the particulars of this chapter and from the particulars of the chapters that follow as far as the 16th inclusive, when understood in the spiritual sense. Inclusive.
Inclusive.
Inclusive, like including. Inclusive. Inclusive.
Inclusive.
Inclusive. From the use of trumpets with the sons of Israel may also be seen what is signified by trumpets and by sounding with them in the following passages. Sound ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound in the mountain of holiness, for the day of Jehovah cometh. Jehovah shall appear upon them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and the Lord Jehovah shall sound the trumpet. Jehovah shall go forth as a lion and sound. In the day the great trumpet shall be sounded, and they shall come that are perishing in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts of the land of Egypt, and shall bow themselves down to Jehovah in the mountain of holiness. He shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Happy is the people who know the sound. They shall walk, O Jehovah, in the light of thy countenance. Countenance. What is countenance? The light of thy countenance. It's about count. No, countenance is like face.
Countenance.
Moral support. Countenance. Encourage, maintain.
Countenance.
Countenance. In the light of thy countenance. In this sense, like face, but face is like support, maybe. Yeah. If you see, because you can say, if we see the face of God, it means that God looks at us. God looks at me, and I see his face. That it means that God is God wants God approves me. He endorses me. Endorses.
Endorse.
Endorses me. Like he approves me. He supports me because he looks at me. And I see the light of his countenance. It's about supporting. It's about helping. God is my helper. He wants to help us. When the morning stars sing and the sons of God sound, since the sounds of trumpets signify such things, and as in the Israelitish church, all things were represented to the life according to correspondences and then significations. Therefore it came to pass, when Jehovah came down upon Mount Sinai, that there were voices and lightnings and a heavy cloud and a vehement voice of a trumpet. Vehement.
Vehement.
Vehement. It's like strong, vehement. Fierce, furious. Vehement. Voice of a trumpet, and the voice of the trumpet going and strengthening itself greatly. And the people of the camp trembled exceedingly. Exceedingly. It's like greatly. Yeah.
Exceedingly.
Exceedingly like extremely, very. Exceedingly. Trembled exceedingly. And for the same reason it came to pass, when the 300 with Gideon sounded with the trumpets against Midian, then the sword of a man was against his companion, and they fled away. In like manner, the 12,000 of the sons of Israel with vessels of holiness and trumpets in their hands overcame Midian. As also that the wall of Jericho fell down after the 7 priests with 7 trumpets compassed the city 7 times. Wherefore it is said in Jeremiah, sound against Babylon round about, her walls are destroyed. And in Zephaniah, a day of darkness and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and sounding against the fortified cities. Any comments? And who is next? Who wants to read next? Maybe.
If there's no one, I want to read next.
Hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Sorry for the sound. It's like raining here, so maybe it's quite loud. So, verse 7, and the first angel sounded signifies exploration and manifestation of the earth, of the quality of the state of the church with those who are interiorly in that fight. By sounding is signified to explore and make manifest. The reason why by the sounding of this first angel is meant the exploration and manifestation of the state of the church with those who are interiorly in that faith is because its operation was directed upon the earth as appears from what follows, and the operation of the sounding of the second angel was into the sea, and by the earth and the sea throughout revelation, when named together, is meant the entire church. By the earth, the church consisting of those who are in its internals, and by the sea, the church consisting of those who are in its externals. For the church is internal and external, internal with the clergy,
Clergy. Clergy.
clergy the clergy, and external with the laity, or internal with those who have studied its doctrinals interiorly and have confirmed them from the word, and external with those who have not. Both are meant by the earth and the sea in the following passage passages in Revelation, that the wind should not blow up in the earth, not on nor on the sea, hurt not the earth, neither the sea. The angel descending out of heaven set his right foot up in the sea, and his left up in the earth. I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, and another beast coming up out of the earth. Praise God who made the heaven, the earth, and the sea. The first angel poured out his vial upon the earth, and the second angel his upon the sea. The earth and the sea signify the charge internal and external, thus the entire charge, because in the spiritual world they who are in the internals of the charge appear upon dry land, and they who are in its externals, as in the seas, but the seas are appearance from the general truths with in which they are. That earth signifies the church may be seen, so also the world. And there
Became.
became, and
Hmm.
there became hail and fire, what is it, miklet, mingled,
Mingled. Mingled like mixed.
mingled,
Mixed. Mingled.
mingled, is mixed.
Mingled.
Mingled.
Mm,
Mixed. Blend.
mixed,
Blended. Hmm.
okay. With blood signifies
Blood.
falsity.
This word is blood. It's like acceptation.
Blood.
Blood.
Blood. Uh, with blood signifies falsity from infernal love, destroying good and truth, and falsifying the word. By hail is signified falsity, destroying good and truth. By fire is signified infernal love, and by blood is signified their falsification of truth. That hail signifies falsity, destroying good and truth, will be seen below that fire is love in both sense, celestial and infernal, may be seen that blood is, is the divine truth of the Lord, which is also the word, and in the opposite sense, the word falsified. By joining these together into one sense, it is plain that by there became hail and fire mingled with blood is signified falsity from infernal love destroying good and truth and falsifying the word. This is signified because such, such things appear in the spiritual world when the spare, spirit, the spare of the Lord's
Yeah.
divine love and divine
Th- This word is fear. It's
sphere, sphere,
sphere,
oh,
fear,
sphere, sphere,
like
sphere,
field, ball, sector,
balls.
sector,
sector,
sector. Mhm. Like sphere of any work.
Okay,
Mhm.
and
And
define with wisdom descends from heaven into the societies below, where there are falsities from infernal love, and the word is falsified terribly. Hail
thereby,
and oh, what
thereby,
terabyte?
thereby.
Then
It's like
oh,
there.
thereby,
Mhm. Mhm.
thereby, falsified
thereby,
thereby.
It's like
thereby,
therefore, thus. Mhm. Thereby.
Okay, and falsified thereby. Hail, hail and fire together have a like signification in in the following passages,
Pa- passages,
passages.
passage,
Yes, and the brightness,
passages,
passages.
pas- passages,
Mhm.
and their brightness before him the clouds paced by hailstones and coals of fire. The Most High gave a voice, hailstones and coals of fire, and he sent out his many arrows and scattered them, and I
Scattered.
will play scattered,
Scattered.
scattered them,
scattered,
Scattered.
scattered, scattered,
Like spread.
scattered them.
Scattered them.
Okay. As many arrows and scattered them, and I will play it with pestilence and blood, and I will make to rain upon them hailstones and fire and brimstone. And Jehovah shall cause his voice to be heard in the flame of the devouring fire and hailstone. He gave them hail.
What is
Um,
brimstone? Because hailstone, brimstone. It's like
brimstone,
sulfur. It's like stone, brimstone. Like it's about sulfur.
mhm.
Hailstones. It's like hail,
hailstones,
hail, stones of hail. He gave them hail for the rains.
He gave them hail for their rains, the fire of flames in their land, and broke the tree of their conscience,
Costs,
caused on
costs.
caused
The tree of the
causes
cost.
the
What is
remote
cost? Ah,
causes
coasts,
cause like
cost like
cause, right?
shore, seashore like this,
Or
beach.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like coast
coasts,
of the sea. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so loud during the hills know they're fine, and there's what is it, sycamore,
Sycamore. It's like tree, kind of tree.
Sycamore.
Sycamore is like plain tree. Mhm.
Plane tree. Okay. And their sycamore trees with reapers hail, and the cattle with burning coals. In the wrath of his anger he sent an incursion of evil angels. These words are applied to Egypt. Concerning them it is thus written in
Written.
Moses.
It's written.
Written in
Right,
Moses.
wrote, written.
Oh,
Third
yeah.
form.
Written.
Yeah.
Written.
Written.
Written to Moses. Moses stretched forward his rod, and Jehovah gave voices and hail, and there was hail and fire together walking in the midst of the rivers hail, and the hail smote every herb of the field, and broke every tree of the field. All the miracles that were wrought in Egypt signified the evils and falsities from infernal love, which were with the Egyptians, each miracle signifying some particular
What is wrote? Wrote. We are wrote. Uh,
Read.
form.
wrote. Transcription
Dawn,
like wrote, but she says like read. I think it's wrote.
Read.
Wrote. It's
wrote,
about. It's about. Wrote. It's like a lot of meanings. It's about
word,
miracles that were wrought in context, like wrought in Egypt, like made in Egypt. Do you see do like done? Done in Egypt.
like done with something.
Yeah, to do something. Do you see all the miracles that were done? We can say were wrought in Egypt. Synonym
Yes.
of do
When
to do.
wrote, yeah. All the miracles that were wrought in Egypt signified the evils and falsities from infernal love, which were with the Egyptians, each miracle signifying some particular evil and falsity. For with them was a representative charge, as in many kingdoms of Asia, but it became in idolatrous. Idolatrous? What is it?
I idolatrous
Idolatrous.
is like do you know who are
Idolatrous.
idols? Idols like to worship idols, to worship to
Mm,
idols. It's like
so it's called
idolatrous. hmm
idolatrous.
Like any
Idolatry.
magical.
Yeah. Become idolatrous and magical by the Red Sea. It signified hell in which at last they perished. Something similar is signified by the hailstones by which more of the enemy perished than by the sword.
Alaya?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you, but Sweden is,
The stream.
I
What
don't
about
know. No, he's just quiet. Don't know
yeah?
what happened with him.
Maybe his connection, right? So you can still hear me.
Maybe.
Oh my god. So it's not me. Sweden. Oh my god. Is he speaking? Oh, okay. His connection. Lost losing the connection. So goodbye, guys. Oh, he's back. So I finished the pages. Hello, Sweden. What's wrong?
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's clear.
Okay. 1 second. Can you see my stream?
Uh, it's still loading.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, right now it's clear. I can see the
Mm-hmm.
screen now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's working. Mm-hmm. Now it's working.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Where did you finish? Ah, okay. Here, the
I
temple of
forgot
God. Yeah.
what's happening. What's happening. No, I guess not this. The slide before this, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Green percentages. Yeah, yeah.
This. Mm-hmm.
Before this. Ah, this one. The hailstones by Whitmore. Yeah, yeah. This. After this. After this. And this also. The next. Okay, this part. The same also is meant by Hill in the following pages. Passages. Woe to the crown of pride! The Lord is strong, like an inundation
What
of
is this?
hail.
Inundation.
Inundation. Inundation.
Inundation.
Ah, inundations about flood, influx, like
Inundation.
flooding, inundation, like
Inundation.
big water.
Like inundation. Mm,
Hmm. After
like
after
an
big
inundation.
rain,
Mm?
after big rain, we can have inundation on Earth, like big water inundation. But it is about inundation of hail. It's like
Mhm.
frozen
So,
water.
yeah. Like an inundation of hail. The hail overturned the refuge of lights. It's all hail until the forest sinked. What is it?
Sinketh. It's like sinketh. It's like it's about
Sinketh.
sinketh is
Sink.
it's like if you cannot swim, you sink. Sink. I can show the picture. Sinketh. See, Iceman sinketh. Like Yeah, Sinka.
Sin cut itself down. The temple of God was opened in heaven, and there were lightnings,
Lightnings.
lightnings and voices and thunders, and the earthquake and great hail. And there come down upon men out of heaven a great hail about the width of a talent. Hast thou seen the treasures of hail which I have reserved unto the day of battle and war? Say unto them which daubed with what is unfit, that it shall fall, there shall be an inundating, rain in which you, O hailstones, shall fall. To daub with what is unfit is to confirm falsities, that it may appear like truth. They therefore who do so are called hailstones, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third of part of the trees was burned up, signifies
I forgot what is Daub. Daub.
the
Mm.
Daub.
Dope. It's dope.
Daub.
Dope
smell.
like. It's like smear, paint, dope. Maybe we can see to better memorize. We can see the picture. Dope.
The-
Let's see. Dope. Yeah, it's like wow. It's like do you see this house like house like dope.
old building.
Mm, actually, dope. It's about any kind of building. Yeah. Do you see? She does dope. She does dope
Mm,
like from clay. hmm To dope with what is unfit. It's like cheap house. To build a cheap house
yeah, with the
from clay.
traditional
hmm Okay, and next page.
signifies signifies that with those who are in the internals of the church and in faith alone, every affection and perception of truth which make the men of the church perished by the earth upon which were cast hail and fire, men goat. What is it, men goat?
Mingled, mingled
Men
fire,
goat.
mingled with blood. It's mixed, mixed. Do you remember
Oh
mixed?
yeah,
hmm
mingled with is signified the church with those who are in its internals and in faith alone. That these are the clergy may be seen above. By the third part is signified all as true truth, as by the fourth part, all as the good. That by three is signified all full, and altogether will be seen below. Thence by a third, which is a third part, the same is signified by being burned up, is signified to perish here by falsity from interval,
Infernal.
infernal,
hmm
from infernal love, which is meant by hail and fire mingled with black. See above, by a tree, is signified man and as man is man from affection, which is of the will, and from perception, which is the of the understanding. Therefore these also are signified by a tree. There is also correspondence between man and the tree. Wherefore it in heaven there appear paradises of trees, which correspond to the affections and the perceptions therefrom of the angels, and likewise in some places in hell there are forests of trees which bear evil fruits, evil fruits, according to correspondence with the lot and the thoughts therefrom of those who are there. That tree that trees in general signify men as to their affections and perceptions, therefrom may appear from the following passages. All the trees of the field shall know that I Jehovah have brought down the high tree. I have except the low tree. I have dried up the free tree, and I have made the dry tree to shoot forth. Happy is the man that trusted trusted in Jehovah for
Trusteth is like trusts, like
more.
trusting.
It's more,
Mhm.
more right?
It's trust. No, trust is like to put your trust in God, like this. To trust to God, like to believe in God. Like it's about trusting. For example, if you see at $1,
trusteth,
you can read on the $100. We trust in God. We trust in God. Like
Okay.
mm,
Jehovah, for he shall be like a tree planted by the waters. He shall not cease from bearing
bearing,
fruit.
bearing,
Bearing? Oh, bearing.
bearing.
From
Yeah, like
bearing.
tree bear fruit. Apple tree bears apples.
Okay.
It's about fruit.
Bearing fruit. Happy is the man whose seed. What is it? Whose, right?
Whose?
Happy is the man
Whose?
whose pleasure pleasure is in the law. He shall be like a tree planted by the brooks of waters that
Giveth.
fruit,
Giveth is
gift,
like gives. Giveth. Gives.
giveth, giveth fruit in its season. Praise Jehovah, ye trees of fruit. The trees of Jehovah are full. The axe is laid at the root of the tree, every tree which breacheth,
Bringeth. It's like brings. Bringeth. hmm
bringeth,
hmm
bringeth,
bringeth. Sorry.
bringeth.
bringeth,
You're correct. Bringeth. It's like bring and bringeth. Not.
Which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down,
What is
either
hewn? Hewn.
down,
hewn,
cut,
Hewn. Like cut. Cut
carve,
down. Cut. It's about tree. Like by ox, you can cut off the tree, like hewn down. Took it down.
either make the tree good and the fruit good, or make the tree corrupt and the
Corrupt.
fruit corrupt,
Corrupt.
corrupt,
Corruption. It's like
corrupt,
corruption.
corrupt, okay, or make the tree corrupt and the fruit corrupt, for the tree is known from the fruit. I will kindle,
Kindle.
kindle,
Kind.
kindle,
Yeah. Kindle is like to set fire
kindle,
to something. Kindle. It's about fire. It's
kindle.
not about kind. It's about kindle. Kindle a fire. They say, "I will kindle a fire which shall devour
I
every
will,
green tree." hmm
I will kindle a fire which shall devour every green tea and every
Devour. Devour like
devour, devour,
to eat.
devour,
devour, to
Consume.
mhm. Eat,
It's all
destroy.
destroy.
For example, my cat devoured a mouse.
Probably not true.
Mhm.
Green tea and every dry trees and every dried tree. So like still continue. Since a tree signifies man, therefore it was ordained that the fruit of a tree surviving for food in the land of
Serving, serving,
Canaan,
serving for good.
serving, or just serving, tree serving for food in the land of Canaan should be circumcised. Also, when any city was what is
Besieged,
besieged,
besieged, like
besieged,
surrounded by enemies.
besieged, was besieged, they should not put forth on exit against any tree of good fruit, as also that at the first of tabernacles they should take fruit of the tree of honor and be glad before Jehovah. Besides other passages which are not here, adduced by reason of their abundance. And all green grass was burnt up, signifies thus every living.
What is adduced?
Adduced.
adduced,
Adduced,
Submit.
like cited, like it's about reference, like passages, reference to passages. It's like adduced, like cited. The abundance. That's every living thing.
It's every living thing of faith.
Actually, it's a lot. Your
It's quite long.
it's maybe if you're tired, you can say, and I can continue.
No, I mean
And
just give a chance to other people.
mhm.
Maybe they want to like reading.
Okay. Do you want to continue? If you're not tired, because it's a
If you
big
go,
verse.
yeah. Because like I will take it to short pages. Maybe other people want to read.
Nobody wants to read. Mhm.
Okay, I'll take this.
Mhm.
See.
Okay, I'll continue. And all green grass was burnt up, signifies thus every living thing of faith. By being burnt up is signified to perish, as just above. By green grass in the word is signified that good and truth of the church or of faith which first springs up in the natural man. The same also is signified by the herb of the field. And because faith lives from good and truth, therefore by all green grass was burnt up, is signified that every living thing of faith perished, and every living thing of faith perishes when there is no affection of good and perception of truth, of which just above. That grass signifies this is also from correspondence, wherefore they who separate faith from charity, not only in doctrine but also in life, in the spiritual world, pass the time in a desert where there is not even grass. As a fruit tree signifies man as to the affections of good and the perceptions of truth, So green grass signifies man as to that of the church, which is first conceived and also born in him. And grass not green signifies the same destroyed. In general, all things which are in gardens, woods, fields, and plains signify man as to something of the church, or what is the same, something of the church with him. The reason is because they correspond. That grass has this signification may appear from these passages. The voice said, "Cry," and he said, "What shall I cry? All flesh is grass. The grass withereth, and the flower fadeth, because the wind hath breathed upon it. Truly the people is grass." People is grass. Yeah, actually we are like grass. Yeah. The grass withereth, and the flower fadeth, but the word of our God shall stand forever. But the word of our God shall stand forever. The inhabitants were as the herb of the field, and as the green grass as the grass of the roofs, and the field burned before the corn. I will pour out my blessing upon those born of thee, and they shall spring up in the midst of the grass. And in other places, as in Isaiah, Psalms, Deuteronomy, that by green or growing green is signified what is living or alive is evident in Jeremiah. The same as what is here described in Revelation came to pass in Egypt, namely, by hail and fire mingled. Every tree and every herb of the field was burnt up. Verse 8. And the second angel sounded signifies the exploration and manifestation of what the state of the church is with those who are exteriorly in that faith. That to sound with the trumpet signifies to explore and to make manifest the state of the church and thence of the life with those whose religion is faith alone, may be seen above. It is said of those who are exteriorly in that faith, because they are here treated of who are in the sea, and previously they were treated of who were on the earth. And by those who were on the earth are meant such a in the internals of the church, who are the clergy, and by those who are in the sea are meant such as are in the externals of the church, who are the laity, as may be seen above, who in the spiritual world appear as it were in the sea. And as it were a mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, signifies the appearance of infernal love with those who are in the externals of the church and in faith alone. By the sea signified the church with those who are in externals and in faith alone. And they who are in externals are called in common language the laity, because they who are in internals are called the clergy. A mountain signifies love, and a mountain burning with fire signifies infernal love. This is the appearance of this love with those who are here treated of, and is so seen by the angels. The reason is because faith alone is faith separated from charity, and where there is no charity, that is love towards the neighbor, which is spiritual love. There is infernal love, and intermediate love does not exist except among the like worm, concerning whom see in Revelation 3. And the third part of the sea became blood, signifies that all general truths with them were falsified. By the third part is signified all. By blood is signified the falsification of the truth of the word. The sea signified the church with those who are in its externals and in faith alone. General truths are falsified with such because they are in them alone, for they do not know the particulars of that faith as the clergy do. It is from the general truth with them that they appear as in a sea in the spiritual world. The reason is because waters signify truth, and the sea is the general receptacle. General receptacle.
Receptacle.
Like container. Receptacle. And maybe any comments? And maybe someone wants to read next verse. 9. Verse 9. Who wants to read? Okay. Verse 9. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea that had souls died signifies that they who have lived and do live this faith cannot be reformed and receive life. By the third part is signified all of them, as above. By creatures are meant those who can be reformed. The reason is because to create signifies to reform. By having souls is signified to be capable of receiving life by reformation. By they died is signified that they who live that faith alone cannot receive life. The reason why they cannot is because all are reformed by faith united to charity, thus by the faith of charity, and no one by faith alone, for charity is the life of faith, signifies the affection and thence the perceptions and thoughts of spirits and angels in the spiritual world appear at a distance in the forms of animals or creatures upon the earth, which are called beasts, of creatures in the air, which are called birds, and of creatures in the sea, which are called fishes. Therefore, in the word mention is so often made of beasts, birds, and fishes, by which nothing else is meant, as in these passages. Jehovah hath a strife with the inhabitants of the earth, because there is no truth, no mercy, no knowledge of God. And every one that dwelleth therein shall waste away. The beast of the field and the birds of the heavens, yea, the fishes of the sea shall be collected. I will consume man and beast, the birds of the heavens and the fishes of the sea, and the stumbling blocks with the wicked. There shall be a great earthquake upon the land of Israel, and the fishes of the sea and the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field shall tremble before me. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet, the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the way of the seas. This is concerning the Lord. But ask now the beasts, and they will teach thee, or the birds of heaven, and they shall announce to thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. They knoweth not from who knoweth not from all these that the hand of Jehovah hath done this. Besides many other places, by fishes or creatures of the sea are here meant the affections and thence the thoughts of those men who are in general truth, and are thus more attracted by what is natural than what is spiritual. These are meant by fishes in the passages above cited and also in the following. Behold, at my rebuke I dry up the sea. I make the rivers a wilderness. Their fish putrefy and die of thirst. Putrefy. What is this? Putrefy.
Putrefy.
It's like rot. The king of Egypt is a great whale that lieth in the midst of thy rivers. Thou hast said, the river is mine, I have made it. Therefore I will make the fish of thy rivers to adhere to thy scales, and I will leave thee in the wilderness, thee and all the fish of thy rivers. These things were said to the king of Egypt because by Egypt is signified the natural separated from the spiritual, and therefore by the fishes of his rivers are meant those who are in doctrinals, and from them in faith separated, which faith is only science. On account of this separation, one of the miracles that were performed there was as follows: that the waters were turned into blood, and that thereby the fish died. Again, wherefore dost thou make man as the fishes of the sea? Everyone droveth out with a hook, and gathereth into the net. Fishes here are for those who are in general truth and in faith separated from charity. But fishes signify those who are in general truth and in faith conjoined with charity. In Ezekiel, he said unto me, these are the waters that go forth to the eastern boundary. They come to the sea, whence it is that every soul was creepeth, every soul that creepeth liveth, and exceeding much fish. The fishers shall stand upon it to spread forth nets. Its fish shall be according to the kinds, exceedingly many like the fish of the great sea. In Matthew, Jesus said, the kingdom of the heavens is like unto a net that was cast into the sea, and they collected fishes. The good they put into vessels, but cast the bad away. And in Jeremiah, I will bring again the sons of Israel upon the land, and I will send for many fishers, who shall fish them. He that knows, therefore, that such persons and things are signified by fishes, may see why. The Lord chose fishers for his disciples and said, come unto me, and I will make you fishers of men. That the disciples, by the blessing of the Lord, caught an immense multitude of fishes. Immense.
Immense.
Like huge, gigantic. Immense. Multitude of fishes. And the Lord said unto Peter, fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men. Henceforth. What is henceforth?
Henceforth.
From now on, like this. Further. Henceforth. Why the Lord, when they wished to take tribute of him, said to Peter to go to the sea and draw up a fish and give the piece of money found in it for himself and him. Why the Lord, after the resurrection, gave the disciples a fish and bread to eat, and said to them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. For the nations which they converted were only in general truth, in natural truth more than in spiritual. And the third part of the ships perished signifies that all the knowledges of good and truth from the word serving for use of life were destroyed with them. The third part signifies all as above. Ships signify the knowledges of good and truth from the word serving for the use of life. The D's are signified by ships is because ships cross the sea and bring back the necessaries which are for the natural man for every use, and the knowledges of good and truth are the necessaries which are for the spiritual man for every use of it. For from them is the doctrine of the church, and according to this is life. Ships signify these knowledges because they are containers, and in many places in the world, the container is taken for the thing contained, as a cup for wine, a platter for food, the tabernacle and the temple for the holy things in them, the ark for the law, the altars for worship, and so on. Ships signify the knowledges of good and truth in the following passages. Zebulun shall dwell at the shore of the seas, and he is for a port of the ships. By Zebulun is meant the conjunction of good and truth. O Tyre, the builders have perfected thy beauty. Perfected, like present perfect.
Perfected.
Perfected. Perfected. The builders have perfected thy beauty of fires. What is this? Of fierce.
Furs.
Furs. It's a tree. Furs. The beauty of furs from Senir have they made all thy boards. They have taken the cedar of Lebanon to make a mast. They have made thine oars of the ox of Bashan. Thine oar bench have they made of ivory. The daughter of steps from the isles of Kittim.
Owls.
Owls. It's like
Owls.
islands. Owls of Kittim, the inhabitants of Sidon and Arvad were thy rivers, rovers, rovers. Thy wise men were thy shipmasters. All the ships of the sea and the sailors were in thee to trade. The ships of Tarshish were thy troops in thy tradings, whence thou wast exceedingly filled and honored in the heart of the seas. This is concerning Tyre, because the church as to the knowledges of truth and good is signified by Tyre in the word, as may be evident from the particulars concerning it in this chapter and in the enlightened 18th following when understood in the spiritual sense. And as knowledges of the truth and good of the church are signified by Tyre, a ship is therefore described as to the particulars of it, and by each one is signified some quality of those knowledges that conduces to intelligence. Conduces.
Conduces.
It's like lead. Lead. Conduces to intelligence. What has the word in common with the ships of Tyre and its commerce? Commerce.
Commerce.
Commerce. Tyre and its commerce. So it's a lot, I think. Maybe someone wants to continue? Commerce. Okay, if nobody wants to continue, I think this reading is over because I have to go. My brain is tired. Goodbye. See you.